Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Called you into beat time because you were not proficient on the quiz we had last week, and I know it's been a while, but let's make sure that you are pretty good at this. So the first question, and this is straight out of Guru, it's what is the molar mass of V? So what you would need to do is just look at your periodic table. And I have this zoomed in. It's not real quality on the picture, but you can see vanadium. I don't know that you'll be able to see where I'm pointing, but you can see vanadium right there. And on your periodic table, it would be rounded. Remember, when we find the mass, we find the larger of the two values. So the mass of vanadium would be 51 grams. Per 1 mole. Now, when you answer this, it does say don't put the unit, so just be 51. Alright, the next question is super similar. Once again, we would just find bromine on the periodic table. It's over here, this blue one, number 35, or 79.94. That's the larger of the two values, so we would take that. And I'm sure that that is rounded to 80 on your version. Alright, so when we find the mass of just one thing, we just find it on the periodic table and we go from there. Now, CO2 isn't very hard, but it gets a little trickier. You have to first know that there's one carbon and that there are two oxygens. So you find the mass of C, and there's one of those, and you multiply it by that. Plus, we know there's two oxygens, and so then we'll put a 2 there, and we'll find the two masses for carbon and oxygen. Carbon and oxygen are both towards the top right, and we'll round them. Carbon, you'll notice, is 12.011, so that would be 12. And then oxygen is 15.99, so we round that to 16. So here we go. We have 12 plus 2 times 16. All right, this is 32. 32 plus 12 is 44 grams per mole. Or once again, do not put the units in your answers, so just 44 for this quiz. All right, the next one, MgOH2. You need to know that this 2 applies to both things inside the parentheses. So there's 1 Mg, 2 O's, 2 H's. So let's do the same thing. I have 1 Mg plus 2 O's plus 2 H's. And then, oops, I don't know what I'm doing. Then I'll just go find those. All right, I know that they're 24, 16, and 1. So then we would do the math. This is 24 plus 32 plus 2. That's 58, if I did the math right in my head. 58 grams. So once again, a parenthesis, remember it applies to everything inside, or the number inside the parentheses, but not the one before. Alright, then we moved over here, and this is where we do a picket fence. How many grams are in 3.2 moles of LiOH? So the first thing you have to do is to find its molar mass. There's one of every single thing. So lithium's 7, oxygen is 16, and hydrogen's 1, and that ends up to be 24 grams per 1 mole. Alright, this is a proportion that we're going to use with this given to solve this problem. So we'll set up a fairly simple picket fence, and I'll just do that right here. Alright, how many grams? So we're solving for grams. Move this out of the way. Are in 3.2 moles of LiOH. So we have our proportion here. Remember, whoops, whatever unit is here has to go down there. So I put the 1 mole on bottom, the 24 on top, and then I would multiply these two numbers across. And I don't have my calculator, but you could calculate that just as easily. Alright, so please remember, you always put the number and unit that you're given. Then you take whatever the unit was, it goes here, and then whatever it's tied to would go the other direction. So let's do the next one. we have how many grams are in 15 moles. So this is the same setup. Grams, 15 moles. Since this unit's here, it has to come down over here. Moles will be 1. We'll find NaF. Na is 23. F is 19. So that's 42. All right, 42 grams per 1 mole. That got ugly fast, didn't it? All right, so now we would end up putting our 42 right here. I'm selecting blue. I don't know why it said, okay, whatever, 42. And then we would end up with our answer there. Now this final one, it's moles to grams. So we take our given 245 grams, and we're solving for moles this time. All right, now this unit means grams is there, and grams is always tied per 1 mole. So now I just need to know KF. These are ones I don't have memorized. 39. I don't know why it's changing colors. Plus 19, so that would be 59 minus 1, so that's 58 grams. So you would just take this 245 and now divide it by 58 grams. And that would be your answer. All right. Hopefully this went well. 1 or 2 questions just for practice. If you'll finish those now.